What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Harry the Horse Barbecue, and today we are making some slow smoked, briny, delicious Texas style pastrami. A beautiful dark bark and a smoky Texas twist on a New York deli classic. Let's get it.
Harry the Horse Barbecue.
Now, pastrami is a New York classic for a reason. In the 1900s in New York City, delicatessens were popping up left and right to serve some of the most classic Jewish staples like corned beef, pastrami, matzo ball soup. These delicatessens in New York City actually didn't last very long, but there were a couple that were long-standing, such as Katz's Deli. Katz's is the OG staple in my opinion, and I've been a couple times and have always loved having their pastrami on rye. Their pastrami is brined and cured, and then it's smoked and steamed before it's ready for service. And it's just so tender that they can't even put it on a deli slicer. They are hand carving each and every piece of pastrami and corned beef that hits a sandwich at Katz's. Now that's the style of pastrami we're going for today. However, we're gonna put a little Texas twist where we brine this pastrami, hit it with a coriander and black pepper seasoning all over, and then we're gonna slow smoke it until it's super tender like a normal brisket, and then we're gonna slice it up and enjoy some pastrami at the end of the day. Now in order to make this pastrami, we gotta go back about 4 days or so ago where I started the brining process for this pastrami. Let's take you back. 1 week earlier. All right, y'all, past Harry here, and we're gonna cook up our pastrami brine. Let's get it started. All right, we're gonna start by toasting off our warming spices. Mustard seed, coriander seed. Ooh, they popping already. Some whole peppercorns, allspice. These mustard seeds are going crazy. And some cloves. Let's get them toasty. Now that these are smelling fragrant, we're going in with some water. Woo! I'd say those spices were toasty. Just wanted to release some oils. We want to just get those flavors popping. Now we're gonna add some red chili flake, a couple of cinnamon sticks, some bay leaves, and a couple of star anise pods. Next, we're going in with our pink curing salt. Get up in there. A whole mess of kosher salt. And a whole mess of brown sugar. We're gonna top this with a little more water. Back on the heat until we bring it to a simmer to dissolve the salts and sugars. Now this brine recipe is primarily borrowed from Chuds BBQ, so shout out Chuds BBQ. But I did a little bit of a spin-off based off of the pastrami brine that we've been doing at Handsome Devil BBQ. Shout out Handsome Devil BBQ, go check them out and try their pastrami. But onto the heat this goes. Oh, that's heavy. We got our pastrami brine rolling, but in order to make an actual pastrami, we gotta go shopping for a brisket. Let's go. This looks like a really good brisket. I picked up this brisket from Handsome Devil BBQ, where I've been picking up some shifts this summer. These briskets gotta be coming in at prime grade. They are some of the best briskets I have ever seen, and I could never get access to if it wasn't for Ed Randolph and the folks over at Handsome Devil BBQ, so shout out them. Shout out to Double R Ranch. We're gonna get this brisket all trimmed up and ready to go in our pastrami brine. So enough horsing around, let's get it out of the pack. All right, in my time over at Handsome Devil BBQ, I have trimmed on the order of a couple hundred briskets at this point. So I'm gonna just sail through the trimming of this brisket. We'll get it ready for our pastrami. Always starting along the decal. Handle this mohawk really quickly. I like to take off this edge. A little scalped out of the package, but no big deal. This is a very key spot on these briskets. There's a big patch of fat here that we want to take down, so I'm going to work down this edge. All right, last thing we'll do is give it a little bit of shape. And then lastly, I'll round this corner off back here. All right, this brisket is all trimmed up. Mohawk is taken down nicely. Look at some of this marbling in the flat. I mean, can't really beat it. Now all we gotta do is get it in our brine. Let's cool that brine down. Here's our barbecue tub. I'm gonna pop it to its highest level. We're going in with our brine. And just so y'all know, I added about 4 cloves of smashed garlic because I forgot to add that during the video process. But in we go. Now we're gonna top this off with the rest of our water, which includes a little bit of ice to help cool it down. Let's wait till our brine reaches anywhere between about 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we'll drop our brisket in and start to inject. All right, our brine has cooled down. In goes our big old brisket. Yeah, just get on in there. You could submerge this brisket in a brine for anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. You probably need 2 weeks for full brine penetration. I don't have 2 weeks. We got a lot going on here in the horse stables, and I need to get this brisket brined and ready to go as soon as possible. I'm gonna inject with the grain of the brisket in sort of a grid-like pattern until it can't take anymore. We're gonna do the meat side on the underneath, and we're gonna do the top side as well. Just like a doctor at the doctor's office. Oh, you can feel it plump up. Oh yeah, did you guys see that inflation? Keep repeating that until our brisket's all plumped up. All right, I've sufficiently injected the brisket to the best of my ability with that injector. Not too shabby though. I'm going to put the lid on this tub, throw it in the fridge for the next 3 to 4 days, and I'll periodically come back and flip it and probably inject it a couple times along the way, but we'll see y'all in a few days. Ugh. Now that our pastrami is all brined up, let's go shopping for that pastrami. This pastrami is in this bucket. Now over the last several days, I came and checked on this pastrami. I put a plate down to weigh it down so it stays submerged in that brine. Now this pastrami is highly inspired by a combination of Katz's Deli, which is what we're aiming for, Chuds BBQ based on the majority of the recipe, and Handsome Devil BBQ, where I've actually made the pastrami there. So this is my homage to those 3 goats. Here's our pastrami. You could see it's looking wrinkly and weird and darker than a normal brisket. I'm gonna rinse this off, move this bucket, and we'll get to seasoning. Now this just came out of a brine and out of the little water bath I gave it, so we're gonna give it a pat down all the way around. Man, pastrami is not pretty, I'll tell you what. Let's season this pastrami up. Yeah, nothing to do with this guy now other than season it up with our black pepper and coriander crust. Now I spent more time than I want to admit grinding up some coriander because I forgot to borrow a spice grinder. So I threw some in my pepper mill and have just been grinding away for quite some time. So we're gonna go about equal parts coriander and 16 mesh black pepper. This is where that Texas flair comes in. We've got a mix of coriander sizes because of that black pepper mill that I was using, which I personally love. I think this is gonna be perfect and blend that classic Jewish delicatessen style with that Texas barbecue flair. No need for salt in the rub because there's plenty of salt in the brine. Lay it on heavy. I am super stoked about some pastrami. That's looking pretty good for the underside. Let's give it a flip around. This coriander is smelling incredible. After this process, I'm becoming quite the coriander fan. I love the way it smells. It smells super floral. Ooh yeah, Texas meets New York. Let's get it. Our Texas meets New York masterpiece of a pastrami is all seasoned up and it's ready for the cooker. So let's go, fire up the cooker. Sweet. All right, y'all, the FatStack is running at about 225. We're gonna bump it up to 250, and we're gonna go grab that pastrami and get it on the cooker. Let's go get it. We've got our coriander black pepper crusted Texas style New York pastrami getting ready for the FatStack. Let's get it on. Up and under, okay. Right in front. Well, that wasn't too fun. All right, y'all, we had to take the top rack out for this one. The pastrami is in, and it is going to slow smoke in this beautiful cherry and oak wood on the fat stack, nice and slow until we built a beautiful crust. Then we'll probably give it a foil wrap because pretty classic to steam your pastrami. But until then, let's close it down. Boom, shakalaka. All right, y'all. Believe it or not, we are about 6 hours in on our pastrami cook. It has been quite a windy day and the fat stack has been kind of chugging along. With that being said, let's take a look at this pastrami mami. Ay, mami. This pastrami's looking money. All right, you can see our coriander black pepper crust is holding up pretty well. Took a while to set in that bark. Our flat is curling just a little bit because we're pretty close to the door. I'm gonna hit this with a little ACV. Again, just some apple cider vinegar. You might be saying to yourself, Mr. Horse, that pastrami looks like it's barely cooking. You gotta remember, we brined it, right? So that brine is gonna really impact the way this brisket cooks in its pastrami form. Fat render is gonna be different. The bark formation is gonna be different. So we'll keep an eye on this moving forward. We'll check back on this pastrami mami in a little bit. Close her down. Boom. All right, y'all, we're approaching the 9-hour mark on this pastrami mami. Right now is when the fat is starting to render. So I wanna keep bumping those temperatures up to make sure that pastrami is super tender. Let's take a look. Ooh, it's a nice pastrami. You can see our pastrami is looking really nice and crusty on the outside. Ooh, you can see our fat render has begun. The bark has set in more now, which is super nice, but the fat still has a ways to go. I did give it the foil Band-Aid because that flat kept curling on us. I did move the pastrami towards the back of the cooker because it seems like it cooks a little bit hotter back there. Back inside. All right, we're gonna keep rocking temps between 275 and 300, and I'm essentially gonna give this pastrami the Goldee's method wrap. I want it in the smoke, rendering that fat for as long as possible. Once it feels tender, I'm gonna wrap it in foil with a little bit of beef tallow, because then that pastrami is gonna steam just like a classic New York pastrami. And we'll bring you back for the wrap. Pastrami time. All right, y'all, this pastrami smoked for about 15 hours, and then I rested in my oven at 155 degrees overnight for about another 10-12 hours. Ooh, smelling very floral. Ooh, it is very tender. Don't let any of it go to waste. Ooh, I mean, it's got some wiggle to it. It's time to unveil it. Ho, 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 ho! Would you take a looky-loo at that? OMGzy, that's looking good. I am thrilled about that brine penetration. That cure did its job. Smelling like pastrami. If that doesn't look good to you, I don't know who you are or what you're doing, but that fat render, perfect. That brine penetration, perfect. It is just, on the edge of being the little too tender, like I was gonna say. A little bit of that fatty with that lean. Oh yeah. Mmm. Wow. Whoa. The flavors keep changing. Mmm. Wow. That is so good. This is incredible. Holy mackerel. It immediately tastes like a brisket right off the bat. You get that Central Texas style briskety bark and beefiness from that Double R Ranch brisket. This is hitting all of the necessary flavor profiles. It's fatty, it's tender, and then you get all of those pickling spices, and it's salty, and it's salted all the way through, but it's not too much salt, at least for me. I wanted that different flavor profile. I wanted my taste buds to be all smacked around like they were getting beat up for their lunch money. Take it away. This is a perfect mashup of Texas meets New York. Time for some fatty. Just take a looky-loo at that fatty. Don't miss out on the fatty brisket for some pastrami and some Reubens. This burnt end slice is a thing of beauty. It's gonna be too much to handle. Am I in Texas? Am I in New York? Am I in Texas? Am I in New York? Mmm. Are y'all seeing this? That fat render could not be better. outdid myself here at Harry the Horse BBQ. That FatStack did such an amazing job, even though this pastrami took 15 hours. It's got flavor all the way through. This pastrami's not horsing around. This Texas style meets New York style pastrami is so good, I just can't stop. Oh yeah. Yeah, we made pastrami. No, it's not salami. Filled with that umami. Someone call my mommy. Pastrami. Mommy. Pastrami. Someone call my mommy. Trim, brine, season, smoke, rest, done. No! Damn it! This should be briny, smoky, filled with flavor. Whoa. Settle down now, settle down. That end cut is super briny, super smoky. Top to bottom, this pastrami is killer. Try it out at home. Thank y'all for tuning in to Harry the Horse BBQ. I really appreciate you checking out this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel below. I know you want to do it. I spent a week making pastrami for y'all, so hit that subscribe button. You know we got that crispy coriander black pepper crust on the outside of this pastrami, so leave a like on this video. Comment down below with your thoughts on the FatStack and how it cooked up this pastrami. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we're posting new content, and you can follow me on Instagram at Harry the Horse BBQ. Tag me so I can see what y'all are cooking because it really inspires me to get outside and cook. And with that being said, there's only one more thing, y'all. This one is going straight to the horse's mouth. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!